for both families coming together. And I mean, my wedding was one that would always be a memorable event, my white wedding. You know, my husband and I, throughout the wedding, we were just gisting, you know, analyzing people. It was just fun. Like, we're just it literally felt like two friends hanging out and just, you know, having a good time, you know, looking at what people are doing, because we're right in front of everyone and just seeing what is going on. And we had to do a lot of crowd control because my parents know too many people, you know, both families, bringing families, extended families. So we had to really try to manage both people in our father's church and business associates. I mean, it was a lot, but it was, you know, it was a very memorable night. And I did not eat. So this is a hack. Make sure, before you go into your wedding, make sure you eat well, because you won't be able to eat when when the whole attention is on you. And even though they're bringing all that food, you're not going to come and start packing rice or packing anything. You have to just, you know, look, you know, the part. It's like you're in a movie. You're just, you know, playing that role. So it's very important. If you can have some time to just sneak in food, by all means, you should do it. And you know, my wedding was so memorable, and what made it fun for me is I had my friends, you know, my friends from school in Canada, my childhood friends come through as my bridesmaids. So everyone, you could just feel the energy. There was this positive vibes. There was this positive energy, you know, all around us, love all around us. Our families and friends were genuinely happy for our union, and, you know, people also, you know, prophesied positive things and spoke positive things to our marriage. And, you know, it's so good to create those memories. It's so good if you're a bride, if you're a groom, to be so good to, as much as possible, have the wedding of your dreams as much as you can afford, because those hard times, those difficult times are going to come. And when those time comes, you need something to still hold on to. So that's, you know, one advice I'll give to new couples. And you should get to know whoever you're with. That is very important. You should vet the person, make sure that you align in values and in the things that are important, because there are some things that are not that important that, you know, you can still work your way around. So what is your deal breaker? You need to be able to ask those questions. What is your deal breaker in this marriage? What is an absolute no-no that I cannot deal with somebody else? And, you know, address it early enough to make a decision, not after you've gone into it and you're now retracing your steps and all of that. So, I mean, God has been so gracious to us. But I think it's important, especially for young people, when you get married, get to know your spouse. Travel. Enjoy your spouse. You know, do crazy things around the house where there's nobody. Because once children comes, it changes the entire dynamics of the marriage. And you know, for me, I would say God has been very faithful, because it's real. And He's also built me. I've built capacity over the years to be able to handle the tough things that have come my way. And, you know, I've just somehow been able to get through and adjust to the changes that come with having children. Because you find that, okay, once children comes, you start even having more conflict. You have to start tweaking things. One thing that was also helpful was the fact that I was in Abuja. Because I have, you know, my husband is quiet compared to me and my side of the family. So it was very important in the beginning stage for us to bond. So the good thing that happened for us, even though I knew that Lagos is my base, and this is where I have family, this is where all my friends are. I was also excited to be in Abuja at that time, because I wanted to go away from everything that I knew to be in an environment that I'll genuinely bond with my husband. And, you know, in that environment, you know, I was able to bond with him, and I was also working. I was able to get transferred to a different office in my organization. Like I said before, you know, one of the major reasons I wanted to get married was to have children legitimately. And God was, I think I got pregnant probably like 3 months or 4 months after I got married. But, you know, God was good. So something interesting happened. Before I found out I was pregnant, a friend of mine who got married like 2 months before I did, 2 months after I did, or 3 months after I did, was pregnant. And, you know, at that moment that she told me she was pregnant, because I was the person like she was like, oh my God, I need to tell Zinni, because Zinni is my friend, right? I should tell her. I was happy for her instantly, but there was just a little bit of envy and a little bit of, oh my God, when would it be my turn? And I think, as women, we tend to we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. And this is minus the pressure society puts on us. So I think it's very important. Personally, I said I've always wanted to have children. So it was like, okay, we're married. Children, start coming. That's something I've wanted from the jump. So I was talking about my friend who told me she got pregnant. I didn't even know that when she was giving me that announcement, I was even pregnant myself. But I did not know. So it's very important to focus on your focus. Don't be envious. Sometimes it's hard as human beings, especially when it's something that you want and you see God doing it for somebody else. We need to learn to trust God that everything would work out for our good. So I think it was less than a week or 2 weeks after my friend gave me the announcement. I was feeling funny, in Abuja. It was just weird. I was just feeling funny, right? I wasn't sick, but I knew that there was something off. So I tried, I told my husband, I said, let me go and take pregnancy tests, like the regular. My husband is doubting Thomas. So he took the pregnancy test and they were all positive. He says a lie. And immediately after I saw that positive pregnancy test, I started throwing up. So he was like, no, you're acting Phil. Which one is your, like, I now started becoming sick. He was like, no, let's go to the hospital. Let's do blood tests. And indeed, I was pregnant. I was, I think, at least 3 weeks or 4 weeks in. So I was like, wow. So God had already blessed me while somebody else is telling me about pregnancy. And that friend of mine and I were about 1 week apart. Our children are 1 week apart. So we probably got pregnant around the same time. And I was horribly sick my first trimester. But my second trimester, things got better. And my mom threw this amazing baby shower for me with, my friends and her friends, our close friends. And it was nice. And we had my son, Kenechukwu, in Los Angeles. And, my husband and I also got to bond. He was so hands-on. And, from my pregnancy, I knew he was going to be an incredibly hands-on dad. So we're in Los Angeles, in his brother's house in Los Angeles, just two of us in this massive house. And, he was going back and forth. My grandmother, my mom's mom, came from Canada and stayed with me for the entire time. It wasn't easy, but, we were able to somehow manage. And my husband was going back and forth from Nigeria to Los Angeles. He did that trip 3 times. 3 times. So I knew that, this man is very vested in this, new family that we're starting. It was just such a beautiful journey for us. And we had our son, and it was such a beautiful experience for me. I mean, anyone that has seen how my first son especially, you can see the bond, that he has. It's different from the bond I have with the twins. Like, he's so attached to me because he's my first child. And, it was just such a blessing to have Kenechukwu. He's been an amazing blessing. Kenechukwu, Kamdilichukwu, Kamsiyochukwu, they've just been amazing blessings to us. My husband, I would always say this, he's been a rock. There's nothing, and that's the beautiful thing about marriage. It's not just about the lovey-dovey stuff. Marriage really is about partnership and knowing that, I have a solid partner. There's nothing as comforting as knowing that no matter what you're facing, you have somebody who is beside you and is facing that thing. You're not alone on it. And really, it's been a partnership thing with us. We've been able to identify what our strengths are, and we just play on our strengths. So the things that he's better at, he focuses on. The things that I think I'm better at, he lets me handle those things. And really, it depends on the individual. So there is no, this is a man's role, this is a woman's role. It depends on the individual. There are some people who, the men are the better cooks than the wives, and they take on that responsibility. They actually enjoy cooking, and they do it. And there are some people that the women are handier. So everyone is different. Like in my house, with interior, I don't touch anything interior because my husband is very detailed. He knows how to place things. He gets bored of things. It's also in the construction space, so he doesn't believe anyone can do interior more than him. So me, I don't even bother myself. So I know that anything that has to do with interior is Kels that handles it. So we just sort of figured out our roles, and we're still figuring out our roles, and just allowing people to take different responsibilities. For me, I'll say the things that I do as, okay, research. If we want to do something, I'm doing the research. I'm trying to put things together. And he lets me do it because he knows that, that's something I'm better at planning things and organizing things and making sure things are, in a certain way.